Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. It is Shirley with Spirit of Matter, and we are going to do a little reverence ceremony. I don't know. Just gonna take it light. And this is, it's not the return of the nude astrologer. I just have this kind of, it's actually peacock colors. So if you know, you know. Um, I just found it and I found it cute and it's very summertime compatible. So yes, it looks a bit like the nude astrologer is back, but no. And this is actually reverence to Deneb Algedi, and then the midheaven is about to conjunct Deneb Algedi today. This is a Venus day, but the Saturn hour is associated with Aquarius, tropically where Deneb Algedi is, or sidereal Capricorn, where the star of the sacrifice is. And so I have my, tiny incense just to commemorate this. And, I like to give reverence with stories. So first of all, Deneb Algedi is still around, I think, 23 or 26 Aquarius. And this is the star that's protected those who are outcast from society. And, in Aquarius, it's basically going outside of the structure. So the Aquarian type is usually not within the structure because they are meant to reform the structure in some kind of a way. So while not being a part of like the order, they are very much thinking about order. It's just that their order is a different order, okay, to put it simply. And so that would mean that they are a little bit ahead of their time, even if what they are bringing is something from back in the days into the future. So uniting that with something from the past with something from the future. And so want to give reverence also to my ancestors. I'm survivor. I'm a third generation to the Second World War, as many of us are, and you survive these things by disobeying. So this is giving reverence to, first of all, my ancestors for having and keeping the lineage of changing the order, disobeying, standing outside of the societal, convention in these times, in these changing times, and incarnating many of the generations incarnating into changing times, as many of us are today, and standing outside of the order to reform, to renovate, to bring in the new, and to be a part of the egregore, be a part of the society that is post the day after the revolution. Okay, the day after. I also want to give reverence to the fellow astrologers and the fellow teachers, whether astrology or not, and the philosophers and the historians that look into the science and the history of revolutions, whether scientifically or sociologically. That Deneb Algedi and now the midheaven is sextiling Eris, which has to do a lot with both scientific and social complete revolution of things. And so giving reverence to the people that walked before me in this path and that took part, whether it's not about agreeing about everything and it's not about saying this person did not make mistakes in their lives, but just giving reverence to their walking the path and learning about revolutions and delivering the teachings and the knowledge regarding those changing times. Of course, many you cannot state the name. And this is also giving reverence for the people that came before me that were in the process of giving voice to those who were basically the study cases that you don't hear about. So you think about the research, and you think about the people that did not survive or that had bad side effects, and their voices were just not counted in for various techniques. They were not counted in, including assassination. So giving reverence to those who brought it about. And sometimes it was not even journalists, it was just people that this happened in their family, and they went on a research and they wanted to expose it. And many of them whistleblowers we didn't hear about. And also giving reverence to the people that are, whether they are the homeless people or the refugee people, or the people in jails and the people in hospitals, or the people in exile, that are in those situations because they were whistleblowers, because they were exposed to this, or because they were enduring those types of medical warfare, psychological warfare, and misuse of the justice system. Okay, where we were vindicated of things that they did not actually do. I'm a Me Too veteran. I'm all for like believing the victim and the testimonial. And there are also cases where people are falsely convicted in things to put them in isolation from society. And this also exists. I don't want to give reverence to the people that endured that. And to give reverence to the people who did civil disobedience. There's nothing civil about going through civil disobedience. Mandela went to 28 years in jail. Vanunu went through 18 years in jail. Mind you, people like Vanunu are elected because they spot certain things in them that would make them competent in an incompetent way, just competent of not having a moral compass, and then they grow moral compass, and then they did the bravest of things. So this is also give reverence to the whistleblowers, to the revolutionaries, and to the people whose stories are not told, and the people whose names are not mentioned, and there's sometimes the people whose name we can't mention. So this is also giving reverence to those who survived, and also, giving reverence for me because I was a part of surviving that, the medical welfare and those psyops and those things. Okay. To various levels of and degrees. Deneb Algedi is the wealth redistributor. And I want you to think about wealth in all shapes and forms. Truth is also wealth. Speaking of the truth, exposing the truth is also wealth, and sharing wealth. And whistleblowing is wealth redistributing in essence. Okay. That's why I see a lot of whistleblowers are homeless, because they are doing the business of wealth redistribution in a system that doesn't like wealth being distributed with more equity and inclusivity. And in the age of Eris, sextiling Deneb Algedi, whenever something comes into contact with Deneb Algedi, then we have access, and I'm giving reverence and tapping into this midheaven, sextiling Eris with Mars in Pisces, kind of like leaving Fomalhaut, which is another royal star of the knowing, of the psychic knowing of truths that sometimes cannot even be put into words, and severing ties with the unjust, even on the psychic level. So potent times, okay? So symbols that correspond with Deneb Algedi. First of all, the blue light. And I shared the story where I spoke with a person who was diagnosed is in what they call a psychosis, basically psychic attack. And the way he was defending his boundaries psychically, he was imagining a blue light. So you can do this with me right now. Imagine a blue light permeating the body and purifying and cleansing all that which is not truth, all that which is not authentic truth, all that which tries to get us to believe to the fear story rather than to genuine, authentic truth. It's not just liberating us, but it's just that we are free. Okay, and so you can do this right now. And this is a technique of a person who survived psychic attack and was diagnosed with what they call schizophrenia, saw that what they give for pills is not the answer. I mentioned time and time again why. And survived this assassination attempt, basically. And this is one technique that is shared with me, and I'm sharing with you, of accessing every day the protection of the truth and the alignment with the truth. So the blue light, the light of truth, it's also the light of communication now that Mercury is in this shade. So the light of communication and truth in our words, truth in our thoughts, and truth in the communication we share, and trust that is based on that truth. Okay, yes. Is also this another symbol is the symbol of the kind of like the blue eye, which is kind of like blue and then hellblau and then white. I think white, yes, which we are associated with the look of this star of Deneb Algedi as this eye, okay, that's shining in the cosmos. And people use this as kind of like protection from the evil eye. Eyes are perception. They say eyes are a window to the soul. It's basically perception that are associated with the luminaries. And the eye is kind of like protecting our boundaries from these types of observation that are not aligned with truth, and by realigning ourselves with the truth and standing in our truth, we purify, cleanse our energy, and this affects our nervous system. Okay, we align ourselves with truth. We're basically setting peace within our cosmic nervous system. Nervous system has a feature to it that it's very friendly and interconnected. If you think about the root system of trees in the forests, this is a nervous system. Okay, they're not truly disconnected and are not truly like completely merged. They just transfer information. This is how we get one tree in the forest to know what the other side of the forest is doing, kind of like a rumor flying around, our nervous system is very much so. And an experiment that I participated when I was in university regarding the nervous system is that you get a group of people to walk in the room randomly without running into each other. First time, everybody bumps into everybody. It's kind of cute. You just bump into strangers and they get familial. And then the second time it gets a little smoother. And after a couple of times, people just literally do not bump into each other as they're walking randomly in the room. Okay, that's the power of nervous system. This is we the people becoming a one nervous system. Now, we want to purify this nervous system. Okay, we want to be a nervous system of joy, of autonomy, of sovereignty, of an egregore of well-being. Then each individual is a point of interference. You know me saying the word point of interference. I'm going to do a video about point of interference. And point of interference is something that I coined this term in this context. So I never patented or anything. It was just I coined the term point of interference in this context of nonlinear dynamic systems. And the point of interference is basically our ability to interfere in the system in a way that sets it off certain type of, it basically intercepts attacks on this nervous system and sets it into a mode that is more in alignment with that which is healthy, which gives peace to our nervous system. Okay, so it says now feeding the soil is a point of interference regarding the nervous system. Okay, lying on the ground, on the warm ground where something grows in as directly as you can, is setting peace to the nervous system. Swimming in the water is another way of setting peace to the nervous system. Lighting up, kind of like these smokes, is another way of intervening and setting intention, because fire element is more like, witchy, yes, but it's not witchy. It's just like, when you light a candle, you just feel better. That's what's up. That's the boo-boo. Just like, oh, let's do that. Oh, that's a point of interference. Changing your posture, changing your tonality. Those are all points of interferences. Cross walking, okay, so walking in a cross, walking in an infinity symbol. Those are also balancing the nervous system. Types of points of interference. On a more holistic level, foresting the Sahara is a point of interference towards a process of authentic denuclearification, not denuclearification washing, where you have all the atrocities that led to nukes, but not the nuke to end this and bring a forest to fruition. But the genuine denuclearification will address all the reasons that the nuke was there to begin with, and creating these half moons that you do in the Sahara Desert or in your backyard if you live in a desert region. These are points of interferences towards denuclearification. Abolishing expandable children project, kidnapping of children and using them as trust cards. This is a point of interference towards denuclearification. You say world peace. Okay, the world is dynamic, but it does set peace to the ecosystem of that which is the cosmos, of which Earth is a part of which we are a part of. Okay, we're not a detriment to this cosmic system, and this is important to remember. We are not wanted here, not desired. None of that. You have a place in the world. You're here for a reason. Okay, and so on. So the term point of interference is basically each and every one of us has point of interferences where we can impact our own nervous system and be a part of the purification of the nervous system as a whole, whether it's with like the other people or the nature or the planet, the cosmos. And you think this is woo, wait 20 years, you're going to see science talking about this, because it's just how nervous systems operate. It's a non-linear dynamic system that does have patterns that are irregular. Okay, non-linear is meaning that the patterns are not something you can track easily, because it has a lot of anomalies, or you can, it's getting more difficult to predict these things, which is actually protective. Understand, this is what causes nervous systems to be resilient. This is the thing that protects you, protects your body, but also creates connection. So there's just so much to go with this idea. And the term that I coined, point of interferences, relates to being a part of restoring peace and alignment dynamics of the nervous system to that which is benefic to you. Okay, so to be on the path to make the right choices in life that support you and nourish you on both the short and the long term. This is a nervous system thing. This is also why it's a society thing, but you also have a point of interference. It's something that I find in the question of consciousness and free will to be a very pragmatic premise. Okay, if you think about it philosophically, that allows for both determinism, that we need to even move this to some level of determinism is needed to exert free will, but also the randomness that we need to exert free will, because to be able to exert free will, you need kind of like the pre-birthing cosmos that allows you to pick this one, or even to randomly pick this one. There's a certain determinism that goes into it. For me, something's very easy to understand, but it might not be as as intuitive to you, and this is okay. You can play with this concept. You can think about. You can even say point of interference, point of interference, point of interference, and immediately you're being shown things, so you're gonna get like an intuition about things. Okay, I want to talk about the K of Eris, and the K of Eris is about the symbol of the apple with the K written on it. I'm thinking about chaos, and I want to refer to, and I'm not like a expert on Norse magic, but I want to refer to a deity called Loki. And Loki is a goddess of chaos, a god of chaos. Eris has a Loki essence to it, in the sense that when somebody throws chaos at you, you laugh at the chaos, okay? You throw a chaos back. And so they can't get you with their chaos. You're not drawn into their chaos, but you're centered by being the eye of the storm and kind of laughing at the storm. This is a very relevant archetype, especially for the Eris associated eclipses. And the K is one of the symbols, whether it's apple or the K, is one of the symbols. You see like 3 apples or 3 Ks. Yes, throwing back the chaos at the KKK, it's actually, I never thought about this, but it's actually true. And so Deneb Algedi, sextiling Eris, can allow you to do this, and everything that the descent to anywhere has a point of interference within it. And so it's by reclaiming the egregore that you can tap into these points of interference. For some people, it's like, I don't engage with it. I go gray rock on like anything occult. Fine. This is also an approach. Absolutely. Another approach is I bring in a point of interference and bring it with the blue light, the upright. Okay, what is the upright of the swastika? It is actually the god Apollo. This is against tyranny. Thank you, Rumen Kolev and Lada Duncheva for mentioning that. And this is how, kind of like the upright direction of the swastika was used in various contexts versus the inverted version. Okay, another person that talked about inversions a while ago was Gigi Young. I don't know what is she doing like right now, but definitely you want to be looking this up. And so you can absolutely reclaim an occult symbol or tactic, and understand that, let's say, we talked about like Algol being called the Rosh Hashaitan, or this is satanic. Like, this is just a woman, and she's not Satan, and she's got a lot of wealth and a lot of protection that inverts psyops, that inverts sexual boundary violations, that shields, and so on. So for Loki or for Eris is also the protection of the marginalized, the chaos that's being thrown at you from society. Turn it back to sender, okay? Or at least shield it. And Deneb Algedi is there to make sure that is done in kind of like in a correct way, not in an unjust way. And so the combination between them is where Deneb Algedi can reinclude it and end with Andromeda constellation, which is reconciliation. Deneb Algedi can change the distribution of wealth so to include Eris, and basically denucleify the rage that she's been through with the lack of inclusion, but also make sure that she's included in a way that is with the community and the people, not against herself, but also not in an imposing way, So she does not become like the narcissist perpetrator of rage, but rather is being included. And so the rage is subdued to the point where she can use her I am and assert her I am, even as a marginalized identity, while gaining the wealth redistribution. So actually gaining the re-inclusion and inclusion back into society without giving up the I am and the authentic I am. This is the times that we are at with Eris in Andromeda constellation and Deneb Algedi sextile in it. And this is also kind of like a good time to, yes, try and put it, yeah, I don't know if I have anywhere to put it here. We're going to stick it into an apple because why not? But this is also where I can turn back to my Eris honey, which I made when the moon was on Deneb Algedi, conjuncting Deneb Algedi, and take a little bit of a spoon. Okay, I'm not gonna take the apple now, but get a little bit of that honey. It's infused with tagetes, infused with cinnamon, and give reverence to, wow, oh my god, wow, I keep forgetting how good it is. Including those who are not included, but in a way that is not, that they're not like, oh, including the way, it's not about them being perpetrators, it's about re-inclusivity into society and redistribution of the wealth, so that we can have a conglomerate of I ams in it. So this is basically what we are fated to do. Eclipses are fated events. Oh my god, this is so good. Put their nettle, cinnamon, honey, and tagetes. Just so amazing. Tagetes is balancing fire and water. So, and cinnamon abundance, nettle purification. It's also reverence to Sekhmet, not just my cat. Big wow. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's funny. And Sekhmet, the Egyptian goddess. Basically, I was called in to give reverence, and I named my cat Sekhmet before the 7th of October. And she is, she was the goddess. It's kind of like a little bit of an Eris archetype, where she would bring in the pandemics, the wars, the atrocities, but also give protection from those. So some people associated her with Algol because she was basically given alcohol to be kind of like so high that she wouldn't destroy the entire universe of her because of her rage. She was very angry at humanity. Yes, Baba. Just a second. She's not a great fan of the camera. Do you want to go viral? How about these? Yeah, content series. No, she doesn't like the camera so much. Yeah. So also giving reverence to Sekhmet, and very grateful for Sekhmet for shining us with the light of truth and basically piercing through the veil of all the atrocities that are committed in the world. So this is very protective just from these type of events like world wars and pandemics and warfare and whatnot. So this is a little bit of Deneb Algedi Reverence. I believe the Meat Heavens, by the way, is by now has this. And you can rewatch this every time the Ascendant or the Meat Heaven is passing through Deneb Algedi. Oh, the energy. It's heavy energy. I just consumed, Eris materia. Alive, it's deep energy. So, and this practice I take from Christopher Warnock. It's not like he didn't do it with Eris. It's not teaching Algol or Eris in any way remotely close to what I'm saying, but just the practice of whenever the Ascendant and the Midheaven is touching a significant fixed star, you can give reverence to this fixed star, or light a candle, or do invocation. And I'm gonna need a glass of water. So I hope this was useful, and have a great Venus day. Bye.